Hello, beautiful people. Today, I'm talking about my weekend of parenting my teen. Basically, I went to hell and back the past 3 days, and I thought my journey and my story may be helpful to a few people who may be parenting teens as well. So I'm going to tell you about my story, and we're going to dive deep so we can go high. I have 3 things that you can do that I did that worked for me. Because gratitude, although they say gratitude really helps you get into a better space, sometimes we're pushed so far emotionally that we actually can't access gratitude. So there's 3 preliminary things that we may have to do to even get to gratitude. All right, so stay tuned. Hey there, this is Abraxas. Today we're remembering our greatness together. And if you are parenting a teen, you know how important it is to remember every day that you like yourself and by golly, you're good enough. So let's dive into what I just went through. Basically, I have a very strong-willed teen and we're going through the transferring of control. And it's tough over here. And he is quite verbal and can get kind of mean, and it's tough, and we're trying to learn how to hold boundaries, and we're learning that maybe our boundaries are maybe too strong, maybe we're being wishy-washy. We're learning a lot, but in the process this weekend, I got totally emotionally hijacked and totally started to kind of numb out and got really, really sad at some of the things my son was telling me and saying to me. I started to look at all the mistakes I made as a parent through the years. I started to get really down on myself. And I train people on how to feel better and to awaken and to have a voice, and all the things that I would tell someone else to do, I couldn't access. I was numbed out, and I could not get past this emotional stuff that I was really dealing with. So what did I do? I had to just jump into it. And I got in my car and just cried and cried and cried. So it's really tough, this transfer of power and transfer of control as we go through the maturing process with our son and with ourselves, our own personal evolution. So basically it was a hell realm for 3 days in our house. And to the point where he finally had to take space and stay at another person's house. And I had to hear, "I hate you," and just all these awful, mean things over and over and over again. And so where am I sitting with this now? Well, it's interesting. I started my family. I had my husband, got my husband, and had my 2 boys with the intent of having it be a spiritual journey. Having it, like everything in my life, I've made a decision is to awaken me. And and parenting has definitely done that. What I have gleaned from this weekend is that, wow, I need to forgive myself for my mistakes and I need to move on. And he can hold on to them as long as he wants. I've offered him therapy. I've offered him healing work. I've offered him supplementation, and I've offered him as much as I can. And he can take it or receive it or not. But it's helping me look at my mistakes and have compassion and forgiveness for myself. And then this journey of allowing myself, forgiving myself, and having compassion for myself is then helping me have compassion and more love for my son during this hard time. So what did I do yesterday when I was just completely emotionally hijacked and I couldn't even access gratitude? So I wrote them down for you. Number 1, I would say, is get space from the situation. I had to get out of my house. I got in my car. I told my husband, I don't even know when I'm coming back. I don't even know what I'm doing. I just need to get out of this house. So I just drove down the street. I thought I was going to go outside and get into nature, but I was just too exhausted. So I got to the trailhead and I couldn't even get out of the car because I was so exhausted. But it felt good just to drive and just to get out of my home. So my first suggestion would be to get some space. The second thing I did, and the second suggestion I would say, is to Call someone to remind you of how awesome you are. So get love. This is a Greg Braden trick. It's just like when you're having a hard time, get loved, right? Help you remember who you are. And I did. I called one of my bestest girlfriends, and she's such a good listener, and she was amazing at just reflecting back to me who I truly am and what she sees in me and why she loves me as a friend. And that was so good to hear, because my teen just kind of really put me through the ringer and really focused on how awful I was. And I know that teens can go there because they're hurting so much and they're so confused, yet it still stung. So maybe there's some stuff in me that's not forgiven or still wounded. So there's that mirror. But the second thing, getting loved and having a friend remind you of your greatness is key. And number 3, here we go. This sounds funny, but get distracted. Guys, if you are not in the space of being able to access gratitude and you're so numbed out, you're going to have to just get a little distracted. Take the flashlight focus off of all that emotional hurt and trauma and just bring it back to basics. Sing a song, laugh, So what I did was I have a song that I just wrote. It's called Shimmy and Shine. And it's all about living your light. And so when I sang that song, I reminded myself, this is what my life's about. I'm going to shine anyway. And then basically, instead of getting bonbons and sitting on the couch, I made myself ramen and canned corn. And if anyone knows me, that is not what I eat. But I just sat there and ate the ramen and watched kind of cheesy Netflix movies for 4 hours. And by the end, I was laughing and things turned around a little bit. And by this morning, I was able to have some space. My heart softened and there was gratitude. I was able to access gratitude. So guys, people don't talk about when you're not able to have gratitude. They don't talk about this. They say, if you want to feel better, just have gratitude. But there is a space when we're in this emotionally hijacked place, we can't even access gratitude. So these are the 3 things I really highly recommend. Now, if you're parenting a teen, this is what I did, but this could work for any situation where you feel emotionally hijacked. Maybe, a work situation, a boss, or a marriage situation. Whenever you just feel your heart completely shut down because it's trying to protect you and you just kind of overload, I can't take any more negativity. Give these a try. So to recap, number 1, get space, kind of get out of the environment that's toxic. So go get some space from that. Number 2, call someone to help you, call someone that loves you to help remind you of how awesome you really are. And number 3, get a little distracted, kind of take your focus off of all the things that were said and all the hurt emotions. Just get yourself a little distracted. Again, this is giving ourselves emotional space. So the first one is giving you physical space from the toxic environment. And the third one is giving you emotional space from your lower frequency emotions. And maybe the bonus one is cry it out if you need to. Gosh, I cried and cried. I parked on the side of the road just up the street from my house, and my neighbors walked by and they're all looking in the window, and I'm like, ah! And so just cried and cried and cried. When a wave of crying comes, just allow it. It's so potent to move energy. And what's even more potent to move energy is laughter. So this morning I watched one of my favorite comedians. I can't remember his name, but I will post it in the descriptions. This thing that made me laugh. He talked about growing up with a Sicilian father and an Italian mother. And he just talks about we weren't allowed to nap when we were younger. And he talks about how his parents made him start working at 8 years old. And it was so funny. I just started laughing this morning. And that was so good to move energy too. So beautiful parent. I know you're doing your best. I hope this is of service to you. And, you know, this is a spiritual journey, parenting our teens, and we will get through this, and we will get through this even more awake with a compassionate heart and loving even deeper. So be sure to check in the description for that link for that funny YouTube comedian video. I think you'll really enjoy it. And if you'd like to join the High Vibe Tribe, I probably will be starting to talk about parenting a bit more. I have a few topics in mind because parenting is just big fast track to awakening. At least that's the way I see it. So please subscribe to the High Vibe Tribe. Be sure to click the bell so you get the info, and have a beautiful day.